Botswana, the blessing of natural resources. Natural resource wealth, in this case diamonds, has truly been a blessing for Botswana. Before diamonds were discovered, Botswana was the third poorest country in the world, far poorer than Uganda has ever been. From the time of diamond discovery in the late 1960s until now, Botswana had the highest rate of economic growth in the world. It is now the most prosperous and stable country in Africa. The average person has an income of $6,400 or over 14 million Ugandan shillings in 1 year. That's 4 times as much as the average income in Uganda today.
This is the mine that has built this country. All the resources, the money that has come out of has been invested in building this country.
I am what I am because of the diamonds. Whoever out there is whoever they are there because of the diamonds. The schools, the infrastructure, the whole development that you see, it's strict because of the diamonds.
In Botswana, the legislation is such that all mineral rights are actually vested in the Republic of Botswana.
We have used them to develop infrastructure, to develop the people themselves, to provide water. We're a semi-arid country, to provide health. We thought, okay, what we should do is to educate the people so that in future, when the diamonds are finished and people say, what did you do with it? We'll say, we educated the people.
The leaders of Botswana made certain that the wealth gained from its natural resources was invested in improving health, education, and the economy while preserving the natural environment, making it a blessing for all people. We all wish our country's future will be like Botswana and not like Nigeria. But we must take careful note. Botswana is the only resource-rich African country to escape the curse. The story of Nigeria has been repeated again and again. Angola, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Chad, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan. All of these countries suffer from some part of the curse. We don't want Uganda to be next. What made Botswana so different from the other countries? What must we Ugandans do to follow Botswana's path, to avoid the curse and reap the blessing?
We know that countries are more likely to prosper when governments are accountable to their people. So we are leading a global effort to combat corruption, which in many places is the single greatest barrier to prosperity, and which is a profound violation of human rights. That's why we now require oil, gas, and mining companies that raise capital in the United States to disclose all payments they make to foreign governments. And it's why I urge the G20 to put corruption on its agenda and make it harder for corrupt officials to steal from their own people and stifle their nation's development.
From day one of our independence, we pursued democratic principles. Therefore, we built consensus on what our priorities were through a democratic dispensation and accountable governance.
We would like to see a serious government fighting against corruption.
I wish to see us work on the problem of corruption in the country because resources are in the hands of very few individuals, but nothing is done.
We need to have democracy in the country. We don't need these political instabilities in the country. That's what we need to fight upon so that we can develop.
President Obama and President Mohai tell us, and many Ugandans already know, eliminating corruption and making government accountable to the people is the most important thing we can do to escape the natural resource curse and reap the blessing. If all the agreements and payments between government and the oil companies are made out in the open, where all can see, then it will be much harder for corrupt officials to steal the money. It is easy to say we must end corruption, but achieving it is much harder. Government has made many promises, but there are forces within that resist. Much financial information is still secret or hard to get, and some officials who have stolen the country's money go unpunished. We have seen great quantities of money lost to corruption again and again. tens of millions of US dollars in grants from the Global Fund to fight AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. 27 million US dollars meant for the 2007 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. 4.6 million US dollars from the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunizations. Billions of shillings meant to help farmers through NADS never reach the people. These are just a few examples. The same may already be happening to oil. Government cannot or will not say how it has used the bonus money paid by the oil companies. If government continues to act in this way, then Uganda will surely suffer the curse.
Development depends on good governance. That is the ingredient which has been missing in far too many places for far too long. That's the change that can unlock Africa's potential. And that is a responsibility that can only be met by Africans.
Government will not change by itself, and the outside world will not change it for us. But we Ugandans can change the way government behaves. We will not have a better future simply by wishing for it. We can have a better future if we all work to make government accountable. Parliament has an especially important role to play in this. It is Parliament's right and duty to establish the laws governing oil and to oversee the management of the oil wealth to make sure it is free from corruption. Uganda needs a strong, independent parliament that can make sure the law is followed and that corrupt cabinet members, MPs, and public servants are removed and punished. Which Uganda will you work to create? One that is cursed by the oil, with money disappearing to corruption and doing more to destroy our country than to develop, or a Uganda that is blessed, with the oil money reaching all our communities? One where democratic institutions are weakened and parliament becomes irrelevant? Or one where parliament acts as the guarantor of good governance and democracy flourishes? One where farming and manufacturing are strangled by the oil and jobs and livelihoods are destroyed? Or one where the money is invested in ways that help farmers and industries to create more jobs and higher wages? A country where roads remain bad and electricity and clean water are rare? Or one that uses money to invest in infrastructure, creating a better transport system for goods and crops and better conditions for business? A Uganda where schools get worse and our young people lack the skills to earn a living? Or a country where we can build new schools, have more teachers, and make education available to all? A future where health centers fall apart and health workers, supplies, and drugs are hard to find and people die from sickness? Or a Uganda where our people receive the health care and medicines that they need? We must all work to create a bright future for Uganda. We must insist that government not simply talk about ending corruption, but take serious action. We must no longer give our votes in exchange for promises and small gifts, but for deeds. If the people and Parliament of Uganda act together, we can make government handle the oil money openly and honestly. If we choose to do this, we can reap the natural resource blessing. If we do not do this, we will be doomed by the curse.